Hi guys, welcome back to Eddian Reacts.
Indeed.
What it would be. What we got today, Ed?
Well, this is a bit different actually. This is totally new for us. Band-wise, musically, although it's fresh for us to watch, but I've got to admit, although we haven't looked at this, I got this from a respected a musician both Ian and I respect very much. American guy called Rick Beato. Big shout out to Rick for this. But I saw Rick talking about this and showing his email list where his feet had been blown up by people requesting him to look at this act. So I thought, mentioned it to you, so that's what we're doing today. This is a duo, a guitar player, a drummer. I believe they're from Canada. I believe they might be from Quebec, French Quebec. And this is something new anyway. So it's a duo, as you say. They're called Angine de Poitrine. I'm sure that's right. Don't blame me if it's not, because AI gave us this thing and people would check it out. But it's Angine de Poitrine. Excuse my French. And the song is Sarniezz. I'm sure that's what it is. Sarniezz.
Marvellous.
So it's Sarniezz by Angine de Poitrine.
Very good, Ed.
Here
I'm
we
impressed.
Go. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Apprécie les avantages qu'apporte ce mode de construction. Par exemple, son confort thermique. La maison reste fraîche en été et garde la chaleur l'hiver.
Well,
Well,
yeah.
well, I'll tell you what, I can see what Rick was talking about. Look, I got to say, from a song point of, from a musical point of view, and I'm talking about musical composition, melodic wise, and all that kind of stuff. You know, I can't relate to. Well, it doesn't do anything for me. I'm not saying it's bad. It doesn't do anything for me. It's something different. But what I can appreciate is the technical skill of both those guys. I mean, the guy's playing a micromodal guitar and a micromodal bass. And for you guys that don't know, or if you haven't watched Rick, it means that whatever note you're playing, well, in a guitar, you've got a fret which plays a note, but they've put another fret in the middle of that. So that makes that one note then, there's a note on either side of that, which makes, if you're talking about, say, an E note, you've then got an E note which is slightly sharp and slightly flat, but it's not an F by flat, it's sharper than an F. And it's not a complete D flat if you're going up the way, because it's empty. But so that's what. So you've got all these 12. You've got a 12 fret scale, which is your 12 notes, right? Your 12 frets, and so you've got 20. And that normal 12 frets, you've got 24 frets in there. So you've got these slightly above and slightly. But I mean, that's why it sounds a bit. To be able to play that, you've got to, you know, look. Even I defy any. Even the best guitar players in the world that have never played one to pick one up and sound good on that. You need to learn. You need to be able to learn that. It's like having a keyboard. If you put an extra key in between two keys, you know, your C and your B, you don't then have a B, you know, a B sharp or a C flat. You've got something in between, and again you've got. So that's how. But he's obviously took a lot of time to learn that instrument.
Oh yeah.
And the drummer. He's locked in. Both of them, their timing is superb. Both great players. The drummer, great. He's in the pocket. They're playing weird time signatures as well. They're dressed up, which I mean, I don't know. I think that might just be a shock tactic to draw you in to start with. You know, let's be different here. Bit like when Daft Punk, they did the same thing. They wrote in it with crash helmets. You know, there's lots of bands that have done that over time. Even Slipknot were out there. They've still got the masks and stuff like that. You know, so it could be a way of attracting, because it's just like we need to do something different. There's so much out there to get people to you know, recognise and realise who we are. But you've got that. That must be difficult playing in them outfits. But that guitar player, I mean, everything he's doing, he's playing a bass line in and he's looping it, putting it in a looper. And then he's playing a guitar part, and then sometimes he's playing another guitar part, so he's looping that in as well. And then he's playing, but they're playing riffs, and he's changing things with his bare feet. I mean, God, how he's doing that one. I find it hard. You have to do it, you know, with bare hands. But playing all that and doing it with your feet, and the two of them are locked in. I can see why, even in a live environment, they're playing facing each other. You'd have to do that. I mean, musicians do that in bands anyway. When there's something intricate, you'll watch drummers and bass players looking at each other, sinking in, because you can't do that if you're not looking at you. You got, and so I can see from that point of view.
Well,
but from the technique of each of them, and the musical ability of each of them, and the creativeness, just a top notch. As I say, just the composition is not quite what I'm into. But then, you know, it's all new. I suppose it's new to everybody. It's a new thing. Whether these things eventually will grow on me, I don't know. But I can appreciate how good the two of them are. I mean, I couldn't just walk up with, even though a drummer I've played with for years, as good as they are, I couldn't just walk up and do that. That would take a lot of practice on that. Just to learn that a micromodal fretted guitar to start with, and then I'd need to learn how to take my shoes and socks off first.
Well, you would do.
And then to be able to control everything on the floor like that while you're playing. You know, hats off to the guys for doing that. But yeah, that was my take on it.
Well, I tell you, my take on it was nonsense played with ultimate precision.
Well, I think, well, again, I would disagree. I mean, it's up to you. Look, we're both here to put where points was. I didn't think it was nonsense. It sounds that way, but when you listen to what they're playing, it isn't nonsense because there's a structure.
That's where the precision is.
There's a structure to it. Things that they're playing, you can hear riffs and they keep appearing, and they're playing. So there is a structure to that. Nonsense is something that's got no structure. That's structured. Whether it sounds. I can agree. You could think it's nonsense because it sounds nonsense because you're not actually hearing proper schematic music.
No.
You know, from your 12 recognised notes and then the different octaves of them. There's notes in between that, and it sounds a bit. It's as if he was playing it through some kind of a pitch shifter that's slightly detuned, flat and sharp. But it wasn't. It was the guitar was doing that. But yeah, and that would make it sound kind of a note. I can see what you mean. But when you hear the recurring riffs, and they're in the same place and the same, there is a structure, and you think, well, it's not nonsense because that has been, you know, it's like a piece of music that's been written out, although it sounds different from conventional scale.
Although I will say that,
and they also do different time signatures.
I will say that it also reminded me of Nick Kershaw's "Don't Ask Me" at the beginning.
Well, there you go. I mean, see, he might have been way ahead of his...
I mean, that's very similar to that.
He might have been way ahead of his time then. Nick Kershaw was way ahead of his time. And if I don't recognise the song you're talking about, I may go and look that up after. And you guys should as well, so there's a reference to what he is talking about. But if that's the case, he was way ahead of his time.
Oh, yeah.
But it wouldn't have been done with micro model guitars.
No, it wouldn't.
Because they weren't a thing then.
But the nonsense
of it,
was there, you know.
Yeah.
And I've always been fascinated by it, actually. I was fascinated by that, don't get me wrong. But, you know, I mean, actually, I think "Don't Ask Me" by Nick Kershaw is one of the... I mean, there's a fill in it that... I can't remember the drummer's name now, but it's actually famous. This fill that he does.
Yeah.
Vinny
Colita.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it would be Vinny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's actually a well-studied piece, and it's only a couple of bars long.
Yeah.
But if you listen to the beginning,
yeah.
I mean, it's all over the place.
Yeah.
So. It's a very, very technical...
I'll go and have a listen to that after we're finished. I must look that one up. But I mean, as I say, although that looks, as you're saying, for want of a better word, kind of nonsense, it's structured. It's structured.
Oh, it is,
because the same parts are popping up, and the bass player's playing it, and the guitar's doubling it, and the drummer's in sync with that. So it's structured. It's not just, well, we're just not playing what we want to play, you know. Look, and that drummer's pocket, it's, you know, when he's sitting there, he's right, I mean, he's in the pocket. I mean, I can imagine that guy playing any piece of it with a band, and he'd be right in the pocket, you know, and the thing, he'd be the same on bass or guitar, he'd be right in the pocket there. It just happens to be that this is what they're doing. They're obviously trying to create a new thing, which is, at the moment, is unique to them, as far as I'm aware, and it's all based around micro-modal fretted instruments like the bass and guitar, and different time signatures. I mean, I suppose you could say there's an element of math rock in there. Let me know if you know, guys. Math rock is a bit similar to that, although it's more melodic. And the time scale, time frames, it is very much like that because you've got odd time signatures and that, so it involves a lot of counting. And I think this is where the name math rock came from, you know, because it's. But that's very much what that reminds me of from a rhythmic point of view, and the time thing is. But the actual musicality and that's a totally new thing. I'm inclined to agree with Rick. Yeah, the look of Rick. Yeah, it is strange because anything would be strange the first time you hear it when it's out of the norm. But when you sit and really break it down, and you do it especially as a musician, that's great because you need a technique to be able to do that. You need a good ear to be able to do that. You need good timing to be able to do that. For the two that may be locked in, that guy's doing it all live, and playing, then looping it, and then playing again, looping it, and any changes he's putting in there are all done with his feet. And there's little things coming in there with little stabs that were coming in that are obviously in the looper and things.
Yeah.
And it's all spot on because the drummer's right on with the stab.
Yes.
So the amount of time it must have took them to create that and then rehearse it to that perfection. Hats off to you, Gabble. I'm not wearing a hat. He can take a hat off to you.
Good, yeah.
But,
I'm not going to. No.
But I mean, no. I was impressed by it. Impressed by it. Yeah.
Anyway, guys, that's it for us today. Very, very different.
Yeah, it is.
And it was fascinating.
Yep.
See you next time, guys.
Ciao for now, guys.